Hey viewers, my name's Kara. I'm your host for Tuesdays on the Pagan Perspective, and this video is very late. I apologize for that. It's because I am not doing it until late on Tuesday evening because I've had a lot of stuff going on, so I didn't make it early, and today it was just more important for me to come home from work and take a very long nap. So now this week we are talking about our opinions on growing out hair for religious reasons. And it's a total coincidence that this is our lead up into No Shave November, but I enjoy that. There are a lot of small thoughts that I have about this subject in different areas, and I am unsure of a good way to put them together. I'm not writing notes beforehand because I just want to talk. So let's see. First of all, my general opinion is that whatever you decide to do with your body for religious reasons, spiritual reasons, social reasons, psychological reasons, whatever the reason, is totally up to you. As long as you're not harming yourself or other people in the process, I think you're fine. I personally have pretty long hair, and I was actually just mentioning to someone over the weekend that it's gotten really long again and I wanted to cut it, and they said, no, don't cut it, I love long hair. And a lot of people always tell me not to cut it because they like my hair long, or they wish they could have their hair that long, so they want me to keep it. And of course that's never a good reason to do anything for other people, but my hair being long is not a specific religious choice, but for a lot of people, male and female and otherwise identified, it could be a religious choice to keep your hair long. It could also be a religious choice to keep your hair extremely short, if not being bald. And for some it's also a religious, spiritual, etc. Just assume that I'm saying all of those different things, whatever the reason is, every time. For some people there are also reasons to cover their hair entirely, which is something that I've thought about quite a bit because I saw several people online blogging about the process of veiling and covering their hair and what that's doing for their spiritual experience and, you know, how people react to it. And it was at that point that I remembered that one of the women who's had a pretty big effect on my practice throughout the years, the Native American woman who gave me my broom and several other stories about her, it occurred to me that for a while I haven't seen her hair because she normally does cover it. And she used to have very long hair, but recently I saw her without a head covering, and her hair is very short and cute and poppy. So it really just depends, but I've started noticing more things like that as I hear more people talk about their choices for their hair with their spirituality. But I do think it's important to note that whether it's keeping it long, keeping it short, or doing something else with it, there are a variety of things that people decide to do with their hair for their own purposes. So the next thing I want to say, I haven't done a lot of research into this, so you're going to have to help me out, perhaps if you already know, but I think of all the world religions, while any individual could choose to do anything with their hair, I think that there are a few religions that actually say, you know, as a follower of this faith, this should be done with your body, with your physical appearance. I know that in Afghanistan it's just part of the culture for the men to have beards, because one of my uncles was over in Afghanistan for a while several years ago, and during the time he was over there he had to grow a beard. He had to let his facial hair grow long so that he would be taken seriously and so that he would be able to, you know, be part of the society and help out. If he had chosen not to do that like he does over here in the States, he normally keeps his facial hair totally gone. If he had chosen to keep it like that, it just would have been really out of place in that society. So that's one example I can think of. And there was a picture on the internet a while ago, someone posted it on Reddit, I think, which I'm not a Redditor, but it ended up on Tumblr, of a girl, and she had pretty long facial hair, and it was explained, you know, she wrote back to them and said, hey, this is a picture of me, this is part of my faith, not to alter my body in any way, because this is the way it was given to me. I am very comfortable with the fact that I have facial hair and I'm a woman and that is not socially acceptable to people. Whatever. So things like that. I'm thinking of, there's specific religions that actually say something about what should be done with your physical appearance, whereas others, like my faith for example, are really very personal choice. So you could very easily, I think, find 3 people of a given faith that does not specify something to be done with your hair, 3 people who follow the same faith, one of them chooses to grow their hair long, the other chooses to keep it short or completely gone, and the other might choose to cover their hair or some other thing having to do with that. Now, because of that, this reminds me of the only issue that I've ever heard with hair and religion. I don't know if it was from one of you. Please forgive me if I'm talking about you and I've forgotten who you are. But I know a while ago I heard somewhere about a male pagan who chooses to keep his hair long, and he applied for a job which clearly states that their dress code is they want their male employees to have short kept hair, clean shaven, the whole ball of wax, and he thought that it was unfair because it's a religious choice for him. That was really hard for me to give an opinion on, because while it was a religious choice for him, it's not something dictated by his faith. It's not something that the entire faith does. So the company could easily go and find other people of the faith that he's practicing and saying, no, this is part of this religion, and they don't do it. And so it would be really hard to make the exception for one person. So in that case, I say there are plenty of jobs that would not ask you to do that. And so in that case, we should just always look for jobs that will let us be who we want to be. Now, I know that's a really tough thing to say because we want to make people more aware that we're out there, we want to be treated fairly and things like that. So in that case, I would say if, for example, an Amish man came in and applied for the same job and they keep their hair long, their facial hair, if they were allowed to work in the facility because it's a more recognized religion or whatever, then yes, I would be right next to you fighting all the way for your right to work in that company and change that dress code. However, if they were gonna, honestly, if that company kept it straight across the board, sorry, even if you're an Amish person, or even if you're from Afghanistan, or even if whatever, our dress code simply states that we want everyone to be clean shaven for whatever reason, then I think we need to accept things like that. It's a really hard thing to say, and I don't want to cut down anyone's personal belief, and I just think that's a really difficult thing to deal with, so I thought I would share that with you. And I think there are some places that would be willing to bend the rules, and you know, some places say something and then are very lenient about it anyway. For example, the place where I work now is a healthcare facility, and any employee is supposed to not have any tattoos showing and not have any facial piercings in at work. You're allowed to have them, but just take them out or, you know, cover them up. And there are a ton who have huge tattoos on the back of their neck and on their arms sticking out from under their sleeves. On the front of their arms, they have piercings in their nose, and their lips, and their eyebrows, whatever. And you know, this is supposed to be something you agree to when you are hired, is that this won't happen, or you'll cover them up in some way. No, it's pretty ignored, and I don't seem to find many people being yelled at about it. So you may be able to find some places that will go along with that. But yeah, it's just really hard to say when I think some people choose to do it one way, another choose to do it another way. I didn't want this video to be this long because it means I'm going to have to take longer to edit it and upload it, and you're not going to see it until well into Wednesday my time, possibly, and that's Eastern Standard Time. But if you check out my personal channel, pretty soon I will have a video up about Samhain, and it's really late. I made it on Sunday, and like I said, I've been dealing with a lot of stuff, I've been really busy, so I'm not posting it until the day before Samhain. Wah wah. So you won't see it until Samhain. That's really late. I apologize. But I'm in the process of moving over to my grandma's house, so after I get settled in there, I should be good. So thank you very much for joining me. I know that was a bit of hodgepodge of different thoughts about the topic, but yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Until then, blessed be, don't forget to be awesome, leave us your thoughts in the comments, and goodbye.